My name is Melissa. I'm a single mom, a small business owner in Winter Park, Florida, for over 18 years, a board member for Florida Freedom Keepers, a statewide civil liberties organization. We oppose mask mandates and vaccine mandates. We are a state chapter for Freedom Keepers United, a global organization in 7 countries and 48 states. We advocate for informed choice and individual choice. My British grandfather was a prisoner of war in Nazi Germany during World War II. He was in his early 20s at the time, barely surviving in a prison camp under Hitler's communist rule, watching himself and others starve, freeze, suffer, and lose hope, and watching people needlessly die. Thankfully, my grandfather survived the war. After the war ended, he moved to America, a free country. He was a wonderful grandpa. I'm thankful for his resilience, love, bravery, and gift with music. He died decades later, with a prison tattoo still on his arm as a reminder of what happens when individual liberty is lost. Today, we see so much of our freedoms being taken from us. Our right to work, our right to travel, our right to be in public, our right to freely breathe air without a mask, for our children to go to school without being accosted or arrested because they need to pull down their mask to breathe. We are torturing and traumatizing our children. Well, children deserve better. Mayor Dyer and Mayor Demings are ignoring facts, science, and the understanding that they are elected officials that work for the people. It is clear they have polarized and politicized a viral outbreak and are taking advantage of their constituents with misleading propaganda marketing. I will continue to advocate for freedom. I will continue to speak up for choice. I will continue to raise advocacy. Thank you for your time.
I'm a single mother who was officially medically disabled in 2008. In May 2006, I went from healthy to organ failure in 48 hours, medically defined as toxic concentrated exposure due to masking. By God's grace, I survived, but was left with permanent disabilities. I carry a copy of every mask mandate, applicable exemptions, plus Florida civil and criminal statutes. As a protected class, these laws are there to be applied and enforced. A business cannot claim private rights as an out when they service the public. The ADA direct threat clause is being misused and purposely misinterpreted to justify exclusion. A business is never allowed to exclude en masse, especially when it's toward a protected class. They must document and be able to prove a specific individual posed a direct threat and then can deny on a case-by-case basis. The discriminatory bias that's prevalent in Orange County's judicial enforcement is shocking considering the current state of affairs with fellow minorities. Under color of law, I've personally had Orange County officers verbally altering said law, stating OC is excluded from federal and state law, and at this time refusing to enforce established criminal code, along with mocking and falsely identifying me as a habitual entitled service dog user who uses my disability to manipulate. I am not a second-class citizen who must beg for permission to be present in the public venue. Throughout history, it has always been easy for the majority to impose their will upon the minority, especially if the minority has historically been individually marginalized, grouped by power, and forced by government to give up their civil rights in the interest of safety and welfare for said minority. I am not a second-class citizen who must beg for permission to simply be present in the public venue. Throughout history, it is always, I'm sorry, I'm repeating. As a legitimately disabled individual who doesn't use the term immunocompromised as a token phrase to emotionally manipulate the masses, stop using us as a minority to push an agenda. The U.S. is supposed to be about freedom, free will, and individual liberty. Freedom is a government not having the right to shut down the private sector or illegally mandate an unregulated medical device that adds potential risk. The phrase, where there is risk, there must be choice, is the ultimate synopsis of why our forefathers limited the arm of government. Free will is a God-given right that no government entity has constitutional authority to shackle. The real danger is not COVID-19. It's those in office or appointed that have been using this as a springboard for stripping away essential God-given inalienable rights. Out of fear, I sat back and watched counties, cities, and other local governments hold closed-door meetings and emerge dictating how we walk, talk, breathe, travel, work, and overreach the boundaries they are allowed by federal or state law. Free will is no more, and an openly hostile totalitarian version of government has emerged. Putting the responsibility on others is ludicrous and nothing short of indentured servitude. No, actually, it's much worse, as indenturing is a conscious choice that's a slavery.
With so much talk around the vaccine, I think it is important for the mayor, the commissioners, and the viewers to be made aware of the following facts. Did you know that the vaccine industry is immune from liability? Meaning if you are injured or killed by their products, you cannot sue. Despite that, were you aware that $4 billion has been paid out to vaccine-injured families? Did you know that all drugs are tested for an average of 4.5 years? Vaccines are tested for an average of 4.5 days. Therefore, if you have a reaction in the next week or month, it essentially did not happen. Did you know that vaccines are not tested against an inert placebo prior to FDA approval? For all 4 vaccine manufacturers, they have been convicted of fraud hundreds of times in excess of $30 billion. Did you know that vaccines contain aluminum, formaldehyde, mercury, polysorbate 80, MSG, monkey kidney, E. coli, and aborted fetal cells? Yes, you heard me correctly. They contain aborted fetal cells. Did you know that the vaccine package inserts list side effects that include seizures, brain swelling, and even death? Did you know that according to the U.S. Supreme Court, vaccines are classified as unavoidably unsafe? Did you know that the U.S. government has never conducted a study on the health of a vaccinated group versus an unvaccinated group? They refuse to do this study. Did you know that over 100,000 adverse reactions from the HPV have been reported, and that HHS says that only 1% of vaccine injuries are actually reported? Did you know that the CDC holds over 50 patents on vaccines and sells $5 billion worth? Conflict of interest much? Over a 14-year period, there were 0 reported deaths from the measles in America, according to the CDC. Over that same time period, there were over 100 deaths from the measles vaccine, according to VAERS. So statistically, you are more likely to be injured or killed by the vaccine than if you don't take it. If anything of what I just said is true, I would ask you to please think long and hard before promoting a liability-free product that's proven to cause harm on the unsuspecting public. The cure will be worse than the disease, and where there is risk, there must be choice.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor Demings. I'm here because you owe the people of Orange County an explanation as to why you refused to rescind your unconstitutional and arbitrary mask mandate until a vaccine. The flu kills over 34,000 Americans annually in spite of a vaccine, yet we've never forced masks or destroyed the economy over it, even though last year's flu shot had only a 9% efficacy rate. What flawed logic has convinced you that a COVID vaccine, which has already produced dangerous side effects in clinical trial participants, is the magic cure for a virus that already boasts a 99.98% survival rate for those under 70? You owe the people of Orange County an explanation as to why you've spent $73 million out of the $243 million Orange County has received in CARES Act funds for things like strike teams to go in and intimidate businesses into complying with mask orders that the governor has explicitly refused to enact statewide. Do you think that you're above the governor, sir? The free citizens of Orange County will never comply to your mask mandate, nor will we ever inject a dangerous and ineffective fast-tracked vaccine which has bypassed crucial safety testing and has harmed clinical trial participants in exchange for our right to breathe unobstructed. And how dare you make a vaccine a condition of our inalienable right to breathe freely? We, the free citizens of Orange County, demand that you rescind this mask mandate, stop intimidating businesses, and dispense all the remaining CARES Act money back to the people who live, work, and pay your salary in Orange County. I'm personally inviting you to come outside to our rally on Friday and explain to your constituents why you continue to restrict the liberties of the free people of Orange County under the guise of public health. You will not hold our inalienable right to breathe freely hostage until there's a vaccine. Our freedom always has and always will belong to us, not to you. Thank you very much.
I'm a lifelong resident of Orange County. My undergraduate's in statistics from UCF. Oh, sorry. 2020 is a year of the fear. Fear stands for false expectations appearing real. We should not fear a virus. We have coexisted since the beginning. It's not the virus's problem, it's the viral response. It's one's responsibility to maintain cleanliness. It's also the responsibility to maintain their own health. The data does not support a pandemic. Your actions had negative effect on everyone, including businesses, children, and the disabled. Leaders, be a good leader. Be brave. Take off your mask and end the mask mandates now. When an honest man is mistaken and is presented with truth, he either ceases to be mistaken or ceases to be honest. So ask yourself, are you humble enough to admit that maybe you made a wrong judgment because you were given the wrong information? Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Manny G, and I live right here in Orlando, Florida, in Orange County. I'm here today to speak about the masks and the social distancing. The reality is that the masks do not work. I'm going to forward a short video of the OSHA whistleblowers that have spoken out about this on the Del Bigtree show.
I apologize. Mr. G, we missed one point of order. For our record keeping and for a sunshine meeting, you need to have your name and address for the record. So if you could just state your address, that'd be great. Thank you,
Annie
sir.
Rose, 10436 Kingbrook Lane. So it's important that I'm going to send this to all the commissioners, the health officer, and the mayor. And after watching this, I hope you'll take the appropriate actions and release this order of mandate for masks and social distancing, especially the masks. In a land of the free and the home of the brave, it should be an option. That's all I have to say for today. And I guess I've got another minute. So when y'all became commissioners and mayors, you took an oath. And it's to the Constitution of the United States. And your fiduciary relationship duty is to support and protect the citizens. And the actions that have been forthcoming are damaging the citizens. It's damaging the fabric of our society. Sooner or later, y'all will be receiving notices of liability individually and professionally. It's time to act. It's time to do the right thing. I know that y'all must be informed. You can't just be misinformed or uninformed. So please think about this, take the right action steps, and do the right thing. Thank you very much.
Dr. Fauci in the past said that asymptomatic people do not drive a pandemic. Mask mandates are un-American, non-scientific, and unconstitutional. I've got a couple studies I want to name real quick. One of them is called a study on infectivity of asymptomatic SARS-CoV-2 carriers. 445 people were exposed to someone asymptomatic with COVID, and none of them got it. Also, another study by the CDC, non-pharmaceutical measures for pandemic influenza. And this one, they looked at all the data that came out in May 2020, and they found that cloth masks do not prevent the spread of the virus. So I'm wondering why we are being mandated to wear them. Also, on OSHA's website, it says clearly that they do not protect you from transmissible viruses. Also, it says people who have trouble breathing should not wear them. I personally have trouble breathing regularly, so with a mask, it's even worse. And mask mandates are coercing businesses into harassing and discriminating their customers. There are so many things wrong with this. They've been wrong about so many things involved in this pandemic, including the survival rate. The survival rate now is well over 99.9% for the vast majority of us, and there's no reason for any of this, to be honest with you. The Declaration of Independence says that government is instituted to secure our rights, and if they don't, then we have the right and the duty to abolish it, overthrow it. I hope you guys do the right thing, find it in your heart.
Yes, sir. Now we'll transition into our online public comments. Today, Orange County Commissioners, you will hear numerous testimonies in regards to the actions taken by you as elected official representatives of those here today. I want to point out before anything else, the supreme law of the land is the Constitution. Florida's own Constitution is second to the U.S., and by definition, no official has the power to revoke any laws, including the governor. Now, Florida Statute 252.365A does, in a declared state of emergency, grant limited powers. However, the governor is the only authority that can temporarily revoke regulatory laws and impose new ones. For clarification, no local officials can alter the law and use powers that are not yours to implement anything outside the confines of federal and state law, period. In doing so, you are in violation of numerous federal and state offenses, which will be listed at the end of this statement. The Constitution is very clear on the powers enumerated to the government. We, the people, hold the power, and we have delegated no more than 21 powers to the government. Article 1, Section 8, Clauses 1 through 16 defines those powers. The Bills of Rights guarantees that no government can infringe nor continue to infringe upon the rights of the people, ensuring that the powers of the government are kept in check. Constitutional amendments specifically guarantee the rights of the people and set clear limitations on the governmental powers. As a reminder to all public servants, no emergency has just cause to suppress the Constitution. 16th American Jurisprudence, 2nd edition 177 and 98. An unconstitutional law cannot operate to supersede any existing valid law. No one law but is wholly void, ineffective for any purpose. Civil citations to individuals or businesses with monetary fines. Hi, my name is Matt Dean. I have been an Orange County resident for the last 5 years. Since March, I have been dumbfounded by the political digression I have witnessed in this county, state, and country. The actions taken by Mayor Demings and Mayor Dyer have directly harmed more Orange County and Orlando citizens than they have helped. Millions of jobs have been lost. My friends and family have been forced on unemployment, some of whose are already running out. Governments have destroyed entire industries, service, and entertainment, especially the backbone of the city. My mother, who has owned her own musical theater group for children for the last 20 plus years in Central Florida, is unable to continue business with all the restrictions limiting how many children can rehearse and perform together. Disney recently announced the need to lay off 28,000 of their 110,000 cast members between their California and Florida parks. If 25% of cast members are being laid off in a 6-month period since this crisis began, how long do you think it will be before those theme parks are shut down permanently? Without this tourism, our local economy will be wiped out. During Florida's peak months, I tracked hospitalizations using the public data regarding hospital bed capacity. Availability never fell below 20%. At all times during the pandemic, here in Orange County, our hospitals were never at capacity, contrary to unfounded statements made by Mayor Demings and Dyer regarding inevitable spikes. Instead, thousands of people were intentionally not visiting hospitals, incited by fear from the actions of their local politicians. Delayed care has accounted for a massive increase in unattended heart attacks and strokes in the last 6 months. Early diagnosis of existing disease has also declined because people were not allowed to engage in their regular preventative checkups. COVID numbers are trending down, yet there remains a mask mandate in Orange County. Hey, is this so? ? Check out the amount of hospitalizations and ventilator use. We'll look at the recent cases compared with the peak of the outbreak, and an unbiased person will see clearly the virus is not as prevalent or as potent as prior. Facts are hard to argue with. Truth of the matter is that the virus death rate due to COVID only is about 6% of total cases when died or had COVID is removed. Most cases had serious underlying conditions affecting those that died. Any death is a loss, but if the common flu death rate was treated like the COVID death rate, more Americans would realize this virus is not as bad for the vast amount of citizenry as those pushing the fear upon the public say it is. Let the truth be known. We should have been and should be focusing greater on the more vulnerable among us. The mask mandate should be removed as soon as possible. Allow those that want to wear a mask and those that do not. Let freedom ring. Thank God for Governor DeSantis. May God bless America. Doug Benedict. The time to open Orange County is past due. All restrictions need to be removed immediately, especially mask mandates. Governor DeSantis has removed mask mandates for the state of Florida, and it is well past time for Orange County to do the same. Businesses are suffering, people are losing their jobs, and morale is low, all because of a virus that has a survival rate of over 99%. COVID is nothing but a tool used by government officials to overreach their power. This has never been about keeping people safe or saving lives, but rather to keep people afraid and in control. Enough is enough. It is time to open all Florida without restrictions of any kind of fear-mongering. Cannot wait to vote this November, and I will be voting for freedom over control. From the CDC, and there's a link that is attached here, those who are militant mask wearers, infection rate of 70%. Those who never wear a mask, negative 3.9%. CDC estimated survival rates by age in line with the flu, 0 to 19, 99.997%, 20 to 49, 99.98%, and if you're 50 to 69, 99.5%, 70 plus, 94.6%. I'm very concerned that we are causing not only physical harm, but mental harm to our community by forcing an unconstitutional mask mandate. I am also concerned about our worldwide tourism industry failing. A friend was in town last week and ended up leaving Universal early because she could not breathe in her mask. She was planning on staying late and spending money, but did not because of the mask mandate, which according to the CDC link above does not prevent infection. We need to remove the mask mandate in order to thrive. My daughter needs to go back to school, but she will not go back to school until she does not have to wear a mask. There are so many children suffering at home instead of socializing at school. Furthermore, I have no idea how any bank employee handles every day as their customers walk into the bank with their face covered. How is that safe? Please remember that I will be voting as well as the rest of the silent majority. Thank you for the opportunity to share these thoughts and for your service and commitment. As you are our elected officials, your job is to do what is best for your community and what we wish for you to do. According to the latest CDC research, removing the mask mandate is what's best for our community. Thank you. My name is Angela Pugh, and I am an Orange County homeowner, taxpayer, and mother of 3 children. My youngest child has a severe disability. He is considered nonverbal. He also has extreme sensory problems, outbursts of aggression, and self-injurious behaviors. He is unable to wear a mask. According to your mask mandate, his numerous medical issues make him exempt from doing so. Therefore, we should be able to live life normally without problems. Wrong. On Saturday, October 3rd, my family decided to go to Sea Life Aquarium right here in Orange County. When we entered the building to go, a worker stopped us and told us masks were mandatory. When I instructed him about the exemption, he continued to refuse. He told us he was the manager and that they were simply following county procedures. I took out a printed copy of the mask order. I immediately had him read the highlighted portion of who was exempt. He acted clueless, then asked, "What is this? I've never seen this." I then told him it's the exact county procedure he is enforcing. The order signed by you, Mayor. The manager admitted that he had never seen it, and at this time my son became upset and started yelling and punching himself in his head due to not going inside the aquarium. I had to stop arguing with the manager so I could try and calm down my son. This is discrimination. This is against the law. This is unconstitutional. This has happened repeatedly to us since March. This order is doing nothing but causing division and discrimination. Does my son's life, body, and choice mean less because he has a disability? We have canceled our Disney and SeaWorld annual passes since our kind are not welcome there anymore. We will now cancel our Sea Life passes as well. Since the mask mandate, we now spend every cent in the counties around us that have no mask order. We will continue to do so until these draconian measures and rules are thrown out. Mayor Demings, what happened to your promise of not putting politics over people? A promise you made publicly from the beginning of your career in public service. And that concludes our public comment for October 13th, 2020. Mayor and Commissioners, back to you.